Your birthday is approaching. Someone casually asks you what your plans are for the big day. You look at them and say the one thing that seems to deeply confuse everyone around you. You say that you are doing absolutely nothing because it is just another day. Suddenly you become the weird one in the room. Your friends might think you are hiding some secret depression. Your family might say you are just being difficult. Society has built this loud narrative that if you do not want to blow out candles and post a smiling photo online, something inside of you must be terribly broken. But what if nothing is wrong with you at all? What if your indifference towards your birthday is actually a sign that you are far more psychologically evolved than people give you credit for? And now we are going to explore the fascinating psychology behind why some people treat their birthdays like a random Tuesday. And what science has found actually says a lot more about the people who judge you than it does about you. Let us first look at the social contract of celebrations. For most of our lives, we are placed on something that researcher Philip Brickman called the hedonic treadmill. This is a psychological cycle where human beings constantly chase the next external hit of happiness. We wait for the next weekend, the next vacation, and of course, the next birthday celebration. We outsource our joy to the calendar. But there is a unique group of people who have simply stepped off this treadmill. They looked at the whole concept of mandatory annual celebrations and quietly decided that they do not need it. If this sounds like you, psychologists Ryan and Deci have an explanation rooted in their self-determination theory. After decades of research, they found that the most psychologically healthy individuals are those whose happiness and sense of worth come entirely from within. You do not need an external event, a social ritual, or a group of people singing awkwardly in a restaurant to validate your existence. You have already figured out how to feel completely whole on a quiet, unremarkable Tuesday morning. You are not missing out on anything. You just stopped outsourcing your joy to other people. But we also need to talk about another group, the people who stop celebrating not out of sudden enlightenment, but because life repeatedly taught them not to get their hopes up. In the 1960s, psychologist Martin Seligman discovered a profound psychological mechanism called learned helplessness. When a human being experiences repeated disappointment in a situation where they have no control, their brain eventually stops trying to fight for a different outcome. It is not because they are weak, it is because the brain is incredibly efficient at protecting itself from pain. Birthdays are basically a massive prediction error machine in our minds. Neuroscientists have shown that our dopamine system does not just react to getting a reward. It reacts to the gap between what you expected to happen and what actually happened. You expect the magical party, you expect your friends to show up, and you expect to feel loved. But when that does not happen year after painful year, your brain does the mathematical calculation. It stops predicting the reward. It stops releasing the dopamine. You eventually stop caring, not because your heart is cold, but because your nervous system decided that hoping hurts much more than simply forgetting. So when you tell someone it is just another day, that sentence was not born from apathy. It was built from layers of psychological scar tissue. And the fact that you can calmly say it now is a testament to your emotional armor. There is also a fascinating phenomenon known as time blindness, which affects highly focused individuals. Sometimes you genuinely forget your own birthday because your brain is running 100 different tabs at the same time. When you are deeply invested in your work or just surviving a demanding life, dates start to blur together. Your brain simply files your birthday under the category of non-urgent matters. Your cognitive load is prioritizing your actual life over a symbolic date. Here is the part that trips most people up. When you do not need a birthday to feel valued, it makes the people around you incredibly uncomfortable. Your quiet independence challenges their core assumption that everyone needs the exact same things to feel loved. They need the cake and the noise, so they project that need onto you. They pity you because they are terrified of being forgotten themselves. But you have already answered the deepest question of self-worth. You do not need a calendar to remind you that you matter. However, I want you to be honest with yourself for a moment. Psychologist Jennifer Crocker studied the contingencies of self-worth and found a crucial distinction. Now, some people opt out of celebrations because they are truly free, but others opt out because they are afraid. They are terrified that if they actually allow themselves to want a celebration and it does not go perfectly, It will confirm their deepest insecurities. There is a massive difference between not needing the party and wanting it desperately but refusing to admit it. Only you know the truth about your own heart. If you are watching this and you spent your last birthday alone, not because nobody cared, but because the silence finally felt like enough, I want you to hear this. You are not broken. You belong to a quiet tribe of highly mature individuals who do not need society's permission to feel whole. The truest form of self-love is not throwing a massive party to prove you exist. Sometimes, it is simply making peace with the quietness of your own company. You are allowed to let it be just another day. Leave a quiet comment below if you have ever spent a birthday alone and felt perfectly fine about it. Subscribe to our channel because the next video might explain even more about the hidden depths of your mind. Remember, nothing was ever wrong with you.